Hi, Swapna. Yay! I am so loving Periscope. So hopefully we'll get through this today without me having a coughing fit like I did yesterday, but we'll see. So we want to talk about spirit guides today. We want to talk specifically about how to co-create your business with your spirit guides, which is such a cool topic. So if you have any questions, then maybe hold them until I go through my points, because otherwise these periscopes are super annoying to watch afterwards, with people stopping every 2 seconds to answer questions. But feel free to tap the screen and send me hearts, because I sure do love those hearts. So if you agree with anything that I say, then tap the screen and send me some of those beautiful, beautiful hearts. Yeah, I've been on here only a few times. Oh, look at the beautiful hearts. Yay. Okay, so how to co-create your business with your spirit guides. So the first thing I want to talk about is the word co-create, and I chose that word for a very specific reason. So your relationship with your guides is an equal relationship. So you're equals, you're like a partnership. And that's something that's really easy to forget when you start working with them and you ask them for advice and things like that. Because it's very easy to be like, oh, they know more. So you kind of treat them as something higher, as something different, as something who, that you should listen to. So like when they tell you to do stuff, you should do stuff. And that's just not how it works. So the first... okay, well, I'm going to just block that one. Okay. So the first thing, that's the first thing to remember, that you're equal, right? So you are the same energy as your spirit guide, right? That's a really, really important thing to understand and to believe. You are the same kind of energy. You are the same energy. They're not any better. It's just that you're here in your human experience and you don't remember your true power. You don't remember the source of where you come from. You don't remember. And you chose that for a reason, right? So you chose that to experience this different kind of situation, this physical space, with its perceived limitations and contrasts and all that. But at your core, you're the same thing as your spirit guides. This is why we use the words co-create, so that the point isn't to kind of ask them for directions, but for direction, right? So for guidance. So even when they give you messages and it's still up to you to only follow through on the ones that feel really right to you. And that's really, really important. You have the responsibility in your business and in your life. Nobody else has that. Not some guide that you made an agreement with, and not anybody else. Only you can know what's right for you and your business, what the next step is, what feels good, what feels exciting, what feels fun, right? So that's really important. Co-create. Whenever you think about that relationship and you start using it, you use the word co-create. You're in a partnership. So when it comes to your business, it's a little bit like having a business partner, right? That you can kind of bounce ideas off of and to be like, oh, I didn't think of that. Except that this particular business partner has a wider perspective. So this particular business partner is outside of time and space. So they don't have the same constraints. They can see your full potential. And that's what's really cool. Like usually what happens when you start working with your guides, especially on your business, is you'll find that you're not dreaming big enough. Yeah. So your guide will almost always nudge you towards something bigger, because they can see your full potential, your full power, that source that you come from, all the pure energy that you are. So your guides know what you're, let's say, capable of. And it's always, always, always more than you think you're capable of, because you're, constrained by your ego self and your doubts and your fears, while you're here on earth. So it's a really cool business partner to have, because they push you into directions that you might not have stepped into without that guidance. It's a really, really beautiful thing. I know for my own business, for my own life, they've nudged me, they've nudged me into situations that I would have never accepted. Like the way I started, they nudged me to take this intuitive art course in Dutch, right? So I live in Belgium and I don't speak Dutch. So that's kind of a problem. And I always, said that I can't do all this personal development, all these classes while I'm still living in Belgium because I don't speak Dutch. And they kind of nudged me towards this course. And I ended up taking it. And that's how my whole business started. Like I wouldn't be here if that hadn't happened and if I hadn't taken that step. So your guides will always nudge you towards something bigger, So I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes just to make sure I don't forget anything. So how do you actually start working with your guides? Well, you start connecting with them regularly so that you know what that connection feels like. Because the main question that I get about working with guides is like, how do you know that it's guidance and then it's not stuff that you're making up? And the answer is usually, that if it's stuff that you're fearful of, then it's usually your ego self, because it's your ego trying to keep you back. Hold you back from doing something outside of your comfort zone. But in any case, you have to see what that feels like for you. So the way to start is to start doing it regularly. I'm sorry, but that's kind of the only way. So if you set aside, 5-10 minutes as often as you can to make that connection, then do that. That's kind of the only way that you'll progress. And you start playing with asking questions. Right? So when you ask them questions, make sure that you're coming from that co-creation space of taking personal responsibility for what you're doing, right? So your questions should not be like, will my business succeed? Because you're not consulting a crystal ball, yeah? You're consulting, a pretty knowledgeable business partner. So a business partner that can see your full potential. So instead, you can ask, what can I do or focus on now to make sure that my business succeeds, or to make sure that my business is fun, or to make sure that, I attract more clients. So play around with questions and with tools. So you can use oracle cards. I use a lot of intuitive art, mandala art, and collages and stuff. And you can use all that and start kind of seeing what's right for you, what works for you, what gives you the best kinds of answers, in which way you're able to receive the messages better. Yeah. And then the third thing that I want to talk about is that you need to take action. So there's kind of no co-creating anything with your spirit guides unless you actually act on the stuff that you get, on the guidance that you get. So you need to not only identify what they're suggesting or nudging you towards, but then if that feels right, then you need to do that. Because that's the only way you'll actually move, right? I don't think I need to explain why you actually need to take action. And yeah, that's it. That's how you start co-creating, coming at it from a place of equal partnership. So if there are any questions, type them in now. And I would love to answer some questions. I love questions. And you can see that I absolutely love talking about spirit guides because they've been just so instrumental, so incredible in my own business. And like the story I always tell is when I got my first pack of oracle cards, and I was kind of playing around with them and pulling a card for myself here and there, and like suddenly one day I heard this voice in my head saying I need to start a group, a Facebook group, and pull cards for the group every day. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I'm not ready. Like I'm not good enough to pull cards for other people. And the message was to just start. And I'm so glad that I started. I ran that group for 2 years. It was a source of immense fun and friendships and clients for me. And again, like I wouldn't have done that without my guides. So there are no questions? No hearts? More hearts. Let's put it this way. If you're going to start co-creating with your spirit guides now, today, give me some hearts. Who's going to start? Or comment, say, I will. Who's going to start co-creating their business with their spirit guides? And what are you going to co-create? What are you going to work with them on? Any ideas? Yay, Tara. Okay, you're going to do it. Yay. So what are you going to create, Tara? Or co-create? It's very easy to say that you'll co-create your business, but that's obviously a really big thing. So it's good to start with a smaller project. You can co-create, well, you can of course co-create your big vision. That's great, you know. But you can also co-create some small, you know, your next product, for example. That's a really good thing to work with them on. I've worked with mine on my ideal client and my messaging and all that. And I use a lot of Oracle cards because I like the imagery. So I do that. So yeah, so if there are any more questions or comments, then yeah, I think Tara, you hit send too quickly. Yeah, I know you want to co-create something. And let's see what that is. And for those of you who want to step from talking about it in this way into action and actually experiencing what it's like to work with your guides on your business, I invite you into my October course. And you can find that at createyourworld.me, createyourworld.me/spirit guides. Yeah, Tara, you want to get clarity on your niche. Yeah, and where your zone of genius is. Yeah, and they can totally help you with that, you know. The only thing blocking information about like your zone of genius is our kind of ego thoughts of I'm not good enough and I don't have enough knowledge, I don't have enough training, who would buy that from me, etc., etc. And those thoughts, you know, nobody would want to buy that is a very typical response, right, from the ego self. So definitely, Tara, they can definitely help. I'm an example, you know. That's what happened in my life. Like, that's why I'm teaching this stuff now. So yeah, okay. Well, I hope if you got that link, createyourworld.me/spirit guides. And that'll give you all the information about my course where we go through all this stuff. I guide you through meditations and we explore what your guides feel like specifically to you, and you'll get to play with loads of different tools and ask them questions and all this stuff, and I'll guide you through all that. My guides will help you, and I connect with the guides of the people I work with as well always. So yeah, you'll get loads of support. And at the end, we'll actually co-create something. So the last week of my course is a specific project, which I'm super excited about. So you get to choose something very specific that you want to work with your guides on. So whether that's, a new product or clarity on something in your business, whatever you want. And then we map that out and I help you use your tools and all that. So it'll be super fun. Okay, I think that's it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.